Hello, and welcome to Your Bridge to Addiction Resources. My name is Yvonne Stroman. I'm the Community Program Specialist at the Council on Chemical Abuse. And today we're going to talk about how to find help for that loved one that may need extra support in early recovery. With me this morning is Margaret. Hi, Margaret.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
So can you share with us where you work and what you do?
Yes. I am employed by TASC, Treatment Access Service Center. It is here in Reading, in the city. The address is 19 North 6th Street on the 3rd floor. And I am a certified recovery support specialist.
Okay. And so what does that mean? When you're a certified recovery support specialist, and that is tied to some of the things that you do, can you talk a little bit about a recovery support specialist? What is their role? How they help individuals?
Yes. My role is basically, first of all, we have to make sure that the client is clean. Once the client is clean, we try to start engaging with the client while the client is in treatment. And really just try to get the client to, feel comfortable with us, and we just want to be a great support to them, and then help them with any kind of barriers or walls that they might have that they think that they can't get through clean. We want to let them know that they can, and we want to kind of be there with them and hold their hand and go through the whole process with them, whatever it might be.
Okay. So does a person have to go through treatment, or can I, if I am, say, I stopped using drugs and maybe I went through a couple of AA meetings, and so I'm clean and sober, can I still access your services?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Our services are free. All we ask is that you're willing.
Okay.
That's all we ask, that you're willing. At any time, you can say, I don't think I need your services anymore, and we would just close your case out. We offer them a lot of case management type work, connecting them with any kind of resources as far as housing, clothing, education, employment, things that people go through and struggle in early recovery and don't have a clue as to, how do I do this? Because I've never done it before. We're kind of just there to hold their hands with it. We also take them to any kind of recovery support groups, AA, NA, whatever they think that they need to stay clean. If it be fishing, golfing, yoga, whatever, we engage with them with it.
All right, so it sounds like you really try to meet the individual where they're at.
Yes.
If there is some deficiency in their lifestyle, if people who have been using drugs for a long period of time, they've kind of lost touch with, how do I access looking for a job? How do I, begin to look at, for a doctor that I may, for some physical needs that I might have. It sounds like you really kind of step in and help kind of bridge those gaps for them to make the road to recovery a little bit more smoothly.
Yes.
Yeah, and the services are they situated to be from 8 to 5, or is it really at the convenience of the individual?
Well, when we first are assigned to a client, and that's how we name them, clients. They're our clients, and once we are assigned to them, there's an assessment, and there is some paperwork that has to be done, as always. And we kind of give them, that lets them know our availability is really from 8 to 4.
Okay.
But we do understand the nature of the disease, that things could happen at any time, and they might need us at times after or before 8 and 4. Okay. So we let them know that we are very flexible, because that is one thing about it. We are very flexible, and we can flex and whatever around, and we are there. We just ask them that they'll make it a habit, and that if they're in a crisis, that they kind of utilize the crisis lines and things like that. Because the main thing is to try to, by the end of our goal, we hope that we have connected them with enough resources, and they have gotten to a point where they are more comfortable with using resources, that they can find and get their own support and start utilizing that support.
Right. So basically, it sounds like you're there to kind of help get them out of the starting gate and actually stride with them for a little bit. But ultimately, you want them to kind of be able to say, well, now I know who to call if I need, dish detergent. I'm just using that as an example, or I know what meetings are, where they are, when they are, and I can kind of take myself to a meeting. So it's really helping them and encouraging them to really be able to function in their recovery and do it in such a way that you're decreasing the likelihood of relapse.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of relapse, do you work with individuals? So you're working with someone for a little bit of time and maybe they stop connecting with you and it's because they've relapsed, and how can they re-engage with you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
It is a process because we try to, say you have a client and at the first couple months they're really engaging, you're taking them places and you're really getting them out there and they're really feeling they're really, feeling like they're really engaging with you and everything's great. And then all of a sudden, sometimes they just stop. And they won't answer your phone calls, or you go by their house, they won't answer the door. So there is a process that we have these things called engagement letters.
Okay.
That we'll try to send them in the mail and let them know, look, we're still here. If you really still want our help, just let us know. We're giving you so much time to get back reconnected with us. And hopefully sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. And then we send them out a final letter just stating, well, we had to close your case because the referrals are coming, so we can't, get caught up in just one or 4 or 5 individuals. And we just let them know we close your case, but if you need our help, just come back through TASC. Yeah,
and speaking of referrals are coming, I know that there's a caseload for the recovery support specialists, and it's what, 25 that you're actually trying to keep track of and help and navigate and support.
It can be anywhere from 20 to 30 some cases.
Yes.
And not saying that all those cases are active.
Okay.
Because some of them you're still trying to engage.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They might be on your caseload, but you haven't yet engaged with them.
I see.
So you're, just giving them, we usually give it at least a month or so to try to engage with them once we get their case. And then if it don't happen, and then sometimes you might get a week in there where you do, and then you're back to the same thing. So then maybe another month to get away from you where you're back trying to engage again. So you just never know. It's just individual based. You try to...
Well, given that it's volunteer, it sounds like you're in your effort to meet the individual where they're at. And so some people may be very gung-ho initially, but then what happens is in recovery is that feelings start to come to surface, and it's uncomfortable feelings dealing with stuff that they haven't dealt with, and so they kind of go back into what I would call as a little shell or something. And so knowing that service is there, I think, for the individual can be very, very comforting, though. Would you say?
Yes, I would say. I've had clients come in to me, and she was like, the first day that we met, and she would say, the only reason why I'm here because I want to thank you that you were so kind of persistent. You know what I'm saying? That I didn't just after the first call or second call be like, well, they're not engaging, I'm just going to close their case out. That I was very persistent and still trying to reach out to them because I understand how it is uncomfortable with change, doing something that you've never done before. That's a hard task, and so to get used to doing that, it takes time. And not everybody's at a place where you want them to be just, oh, she called me, I'm going to call her back. No. Not when you're dealing with an addiction. So.
And I was going to say, and folks sometimes want the help, but they're not certain how much help they want or even how much help they need. Because I think what you also talked about was doing is fostering their own resiliency. And so people are pretty resilient
Right.
You know, and they once they get out of the starting gate, they feel like, you know, I can do this, I can do this. And so that's great. It's a wonderful service that is available at TASC. So if someone listening today, watching this video podcast today says, you know, that's for me, I want to get that extra help that I need, how can they do that?
You simply just come into TASC, and I believe they're still doing an evaluation because there's a clipboards that you have to fill out. It is kind of like a first come, first serve. And then during your eval, you let them know that you're interested in recovery support services. There's a referral that is done, and then that referral is sent to my boss. And then she will decide who will be assigned to your case. And once that's done, we have within 3 days to contact them. So it's nothing that you'll be waiting for a week after week after week. As soon as you come in and that clipboard is done, within that week, you can be introduced to whoever is going to be taking your case.
That's special. That's great. That's great. So we have a couple minutes left, Margaret. Is there anything that we haven't talked about, that we haven't mentioned, that perhaps you want to kind of send across the airwaves to just kind of reinforce for today's discussion?
I'm a recovering person myself, and I would just say that, like, they didn't have this when I was getting clean. You understand what I'm saying? And this program is just awesome. Like, you know, all you got to do is come in there and say you want the help and allow the help to help you. Like, what more can you ask for? Really, I mean, we meet them at every need, wherever they are at. That is where we meet them, you know. We are not here to say that this is mandated, this is forced on you, or anything like that. Like, we are here to see what you, for the first time, somebody is here to see what you want. You know what I mean? And then we are here to meet you at those needs. Like, we're not here to say you got to do 5 meetings or 5, whatever. If you think 3 or 2 or whatever is going to help you, you know, turn your life around, then we are here to help you engage in it. And that's just simply what we are. So I would just say that, you know, if you are struggling, if you have struggled, you know, in this path, and you have tried almost everything and nothing has worked, give it a try. There's nothing that you could lose.
Wow, thank you, Margaret, very much. And so if you would like to engage in recovery support services and you're really interested, TASC is on 19 North 6th Street on the third floor. And please go there, fill out an assessment form, and allow them to help you. Allow them to help you in the best way that they can. And so if you would like any more information about the Council on Chemical Abuse and the services that we help provide in the community, please go to our website at www.cocaberks.org or contact us at our office, 610-376-8669. So for today, thank you again, Margaret.
Thank you.
This has been your Bridge to Addiction Resources. I'm Yvonne Stroman. Thank you for joining us.
Check back every week for a new story with your Bridge to Addiction Resources. You can call 610-376-8669 or visit online at cocaberks.org. COCABERKS.org. Be sure to like and follow the Council on Chemical Abuse on Facebook and Twitter.